We live in a world where hustle isn't just encouraged, it's glorified. Success stories are soaked in sweat and sacrifice. Every Instagram caption screams, rise and grind. Every podcast preaches late nights and early mornings. Every viral quote tells you to outwork, outlast, and outpace everyone around you. The message is clear. If you're not constantly pushing, you're falling behind. But what if the hustle we've been sold isn't the golden ticket it claims to be? What if the constant grind isn't leading us towards success, but pulling us deeper into exhaustion, anxiety, and emptiness? This version of hustle is seductive. It promises purpose. It promises pride. It promises power. But beneath that polished surface is a toxic lie. Hustle culture tells us that our worth is directly tied to our productivity, that rest is weakness, that burnout is a badge of honor. It sells us a one-size-fits-all blueprint for success, without ever asking what success truly means to each of us. We're taught that if we work hard enough, if we grind longer than everyone else, we'll finally make it. But make it where? To what end? At what cost? The truth is, hustle culture doesn't come with an off switch. There's always more to do, more to chase, more to prove. It's a moving finish line, an endless race, and we run it even as we unravel. The hustle lie is loud, but your health, your joy, your peace, they matter more than any badge of busyness. Real success should be sustainable. Real fulfillment should include rest. It's time to question the grind. It's time to unlearn the myth. The hustle was never the dream. Living fully, intentionally, healthily, and wholly is. Let's break down one of the most seductive lies hustle culture feeds us. The myth of overnight success. We've all seen the headlines. This entrepreneur built $1 million business in 6 months. That artist blew up overnight. The media loves to spotlight these stories, feeding the idea that all it takes is one big break, one viral moment, one lucky launch. But what we don't see is the years of struggle behind those so-called instant successes. We don't see the countless failures, the rejections, the pivots, the nights spent questioning whether it's all worth it. Hustle culture promotes the belief that if you just grind hard enough, push long enough, success will magically show up. But the truth is far more complicated. Success is rarely a straight line. It's often a messy, unpredictable journey, shaped by persistence, resilience, and a whole lot of factors outside of our control. Timing matters. Luck plays a role. So do resources, networks, privilege, and opportunities. Hard work is important, but it's not the only ingredient. By selling us the dream of overnight success, hustle culture creates a dangerous illusion. It sets unrealistic expectations. It makes us feel like we're failing if we don't achieve rapid results. It makes us question our worth if we're still grinding without the spotlight. But the truth is, slow growth is still growth. Progress that isn't flashy is still valid. Success doesn't come wrapped in a viral moment. It's built in the quiet hours, in the invisible work, in the lessons learned through patience and perseverance. Let's stop chasing shortcuts and start honoring the long game. Real success takes time. And that's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of. The truth about success is that it doesn't fit neatly into the hustle narrative we've been fed. It's not just about waking up before the sun rises, answering emails at midnight, or juggling 5 side projects at once. Real success is messy. It's non-linear. And, more importantly, it's deeply personal. The grind alone won't get you there. Not without burning you out along the way. Hustle culture loves to highlight hard work, but it leaves out key ingredients like strategy, creativity, intuition, and the courage to pause when needed. We've been taught that stopping is a sign of weakness. That rest is for the lazy. But some of the most powerful breakthroughs happen in stillness. Reflection gives rise to clarity. Rest renews our energy and sharpens our focus. A constant grind keeps us reactive, spinning our wheels. But when we step back and evaluate, we can move with purpose instead of panic. Collaboration is another piece hustle culture often overlooks. We're sold the image of the lone wolf entrepreneur, the self-made genius who did it all alone. But that's rarely the truth. Success often comes from working with others, sharing ideas, leaning on support, and building with community. No one climbs to the top without help. Balance isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Action without reflection becomes chaos. Work without rest becomes depletion. Achievement without intention becomes emptiness. To move beyond the grind means to redefine success on our own terms. It means honoring our limits, listening to our needs, and allowing space for the full spectrum of the human experience. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters, with clarity, integrity, and sustainability. That's the kind of success worth striving for. one that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. One of the most toxic side effects of hustle culture is the way it fuels constant comparison. We're surrounded by curated images of other people's achievements, highlight reels that showcase promotions, launches, awards, six-figure months, and picture-perfect morning routines. Without even realizing it, we start measuring our lives against someone else's. We start believing that success has one definition, one path, one shape, and if we don't match it, we're failing. But that's a lie. Success isn't one size fits all. Your definition of success might look nothing like the person next to you, and that's okay. Maybe for you, success is working part-time and having time to raise your kids. Maybe it's traveling the world. Maybe it's building something slowly, sustainably, with intention. Or maybe it's creating enough space in your life to rest, heal, and be present. Whatever it is, it's valid. Comparison blinds us to our own unique path. It disconnects us from our own intuition, our values, and our vision. It makes us chase goals that aren't even ours, just because they look impressive on someone else. It steals our joy, our peace, and our ability to feel proud of what we've already accomplished. And social media only amplifies this. We see filtered moments, polished milestones, and carefully crafted narratives, but we rarely see the full story. We don't see the sacrifices, the doubts, the support systems, the privilege, or the pain. We only see what they want us to see, and we compare it to our raw, unedited reality. To escape the trap of comparison, we must come home to ourselves. We must define success for ourselves. We must trust that our journey is enough, even if it doesn't look like anyone else's, because it's not supposed to. Your path is yours alone. Social media has become a highlight reel of the hustle. As we scroll through our feeds, we're like flooded with images and posts, showcasing achievement, productivity, and success. Someone just launched a business. Someone else is working from a beach. Another person is celebrating a promotion, a new client, or, their 10th straight day of waking up at 5 a.m. And while these moments might be real, they're only part of the story. What we're seeing is not the full picture. It's the filtered version, the polished version, the part they want the world to see. We don't see the anxiety behind the smiles. We don't see the late-night doubts, the missed family dinners, the mental breakdowns in the shower. We don't see the exhaustion masked by inspirational captions. What we see is curated content designed to project success, designed to inspire, but also, unintentionally, designed to make us question ourselves. We start to feel inadequate, behind, like we're not doing enough. We wonder why our days aren't as productive or our lives as exciting. We begin to equate visibility with value, thinking that if our hustle isn't public, it isn't valid. But real growth often happens in private. Real progress can't always be captured in a photo or summed up in a post. The filtered hustle glamorizes a version of life that ignores balance, ignores rest, and ignores reality. It creates pressure to not only be successful, but to look successful at all times. And that pressure is exhausting. To protect our peace, we must remember that social media is a performance. It's not the truth. Your worth is not determined by likes or follows, and your journey doesn't need an audience to be meaningful. You're allowed to grow quietly. You're allowed to succeed privately. The truth is, hustle culture isn't a one-size-fits-all formula, even though it's often sold to us that way. Not everyone thrives in chaos. Not everyone is wired to grind day and night. And not everyone wants the kind of life that hustle culture promises. Some people value silence over noise, stillness over movement, and peace over pressure. And that's not laziness, that's wisdom. There's a different kind of success that isn't about waking up at 4 a.m. or filling every hour of your day with productivity. It's the kind of success that's measured by joy, not just output. It's about waking up and feeling a sense of contentment, not dread. It's about having the time and space to enjoy the little things. It's about being present for your life, instead of constantly chasing something that's always just out of reach. Success should never come at the cost of your health, your relationships, or your soul. True success honors your needs, your rhythms, and your truth. It's not always loud or visible. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it's taking a nap instead of a meeting. Sometimes it's choosing your sanity over your schedule. We need to stop believing that doing less is failure. We need to reclaim success from the hands of hustle culture and redefine it in a way that makes sense for us. For some, that means building empires. For others, it means building boundaries. There's no universal path to fulfillment. There is only your path. Success, real success, is personal. It's yours to define. And it's perfectly okay if your version doesn't look like anyone else's. What matters is that it feels right for you. That's the kind of success worth striving for. It's time we start rewriting the story we've been sold. For too long, hustle culture has written the script. It's told us that the only way to succeed is to exhaust ourselves, to stay busy, to never stop moving. It has glamorized burnout and treated rest like a weakness. But that narrative is not only harmful, it's outdated. We are not machines. We are not made to operate at maximum speed without pause. We are living, breathing beings who require care, balance, and time to simply be. Rewriting the narrative means choosing a different kind of success. It means saying that our worth is not tied to our productivity. It means believing that rest is not a luxury, but a necessity. It means honoring our limits, not as failures, but as boundaries that protect our well-being. It means letting go of the idea that more is always better. Sometimes, less is exactly what we need. This new narrative values intention over intensity. It asks us to slow down, to reflect, to ask ourselves what we're really chasing and why. It calls us to define success on our own terms, not based on someone else's highlight reel. It invites us to measure our lives not by how much we produce, but by how much we enjoy, connect, grow, and feel. The future of success doesn't look like burnout. It looks like balance. It looks like choosing rest without guilt. It looks like building a life that nurtures, not depletes. We owe it to ourselves to step out of the race and reclaim our time, our energy, and our joy. We don't need to hustle harder. We need to live better. And that begins by rewriting the story one choice at a time. Let's take back the word hustle. Let's redefine it so it actually means something worth chasing. The real hustle isn't about driving ourselves into the ground, neglecting our health, or sacrificing our peace of mind for some shiny version of success. The real hustle is knowing yourself well enough to know when to show up, when to slow down, and when to say no. It's about choosing what matters, not chasing everything that glitters. True hustle is grounded. It has purpose. It doesn't demand that we perform nonstop. It asks that we stay aligned with our values. It's not about staying up all night to prove our worth. It's about finding the courage to rest without guilt, to work with intention, and to create space for what fuels us rather than drains us. The real hustle honors both movement and stillness. It sees rest not as a break from the grind, but as a part of the rhythm. Real hustle doesn't mean doing everything. It means doing the right things, for the right reasons. It means defining success for yourself, instead of trying to live up to a standard set by strangers on the internet. It means investing in your passions, not for approval or applause, but because they light you up. It's the long game, not the sprint. It's the quiet commitment to yourself day after day, to keep showing up in a way that's real. So let's stop chasing the illusion. Let's embrace a kind of hustle that makes room for joy, peace, and presence. Because when we take care of ourselves, we actually have something real to give. If you agree, ink, rage, repeat, share, like, and subscribe. See you next time.